Hi guys, I'm outside Golders Green Crematorium in North London. Today I'm going to show you Marc Bolan's final resting place. The crematorium is the final resting place for a large number of famous people. There's too many to mention in one video, but I will talk about some of them as I'm making my way to Marc's grave. T-Rex frontman Marc Bolan died on the 16th of September 1977. He was a passenger in a car driven by his girlfriend when the car left the road, colliding with a tree. Marc Bolan died instantly in the accident. Marc Bolan was 29 years old when he died. In one television interview he had predicted that he would not live to see 30. There are some strange coincidences surrounding his death. In his 1972 single Solid Gold Easy Action, the opening line begins, "Life is the same and it always will be, easy as picking foxes from a tree." The registration of the car that was picked from the tree was Fox 661L. Marc Bolan's very first demo was a song called The Road I'm On, Gloria, which included the line, "The road I'm on won't carry me home." Marc's girlfriend who was driving the car that night was called Gloria, but at the time of writing the song, Marc Bolan had not even met Gloria. At the entrance to the memorial garden there are two plaques for Marc Bolan. This is the original plaque, and next to it there's another plaque that was placed 25 years after he passed away. To the left of the original plaque, there's a plaque for Keith Moon, the drummer of The Who died in London in 1978. I've actually got another video about this. He actually died in the same flat where Cass Elliot passed away 4 years previously. Keith Moon's ashes were actually scattered in the memorial garden. Bram Stoker, the Irish author who is best known for his 1897 novel Dracula. He had been inspired to write the novel after a visit to the English seaside town of Whitby and conducted much of his research in the London Library. The original transcript of Dracula was believed to be lost until it was found in a barn in the US state of Pennsylvania in 1980. The handwritten title on the transcript was The Undead. Therefore, the title of the novel was only changed to Dracula at the last minute. Bram Stoker died of syphilis on April 20th, 1912, which happens to be 5 days after the sinking of the Titanic. The ashes of his son were added to the urn in 1961. The urn is not on display to the public. Sigmund Freud, the Austrian neurologist and founder of psychoanalysis. Freud left Austria in 1938 to escape Nazi persecution and died in exile in London in 1939. He died on the 23rd of September 1939 and was cremated 3 days later, with Harrods acting as undertakers. His ashes rest on a plinth that was designed by his son. The urn itself is actually an ancient Greek antique that he kept in his study in Vienna. His wife Martha died in 1951 and her ashes were also placed in the urn. On New Year's Eve 2014, staff at the crematorium discovered that burglars had tried to steal the urn, but managed to smash it into pieces in the process. The ashes were carefully collected from the floor, and the urn was restored. The urn is now protected in a glass case. Here we've got the grave of Peter Sellers here, the actor and comedian. Most famous, of course, for starring in the Pink Panther movies as Inspector Clouseau. Sellers wasn't the first choice to play Clouseau, and Clouseau wasn't even the main character in the first Pink Panther film, but Sellers managed to upstage everyone else. Inspector Clouseau's look, from the clothes down to the false moustache, was Sellers' creation. Peter Sellers was one of the most accomplished comic actors of the late 20th century. He was nominated 3 times for an Academy Award and won a Golden Globe for his role in the movie Being There. He struggled with depression and insecurities and had a crippling case of imposter syndrome. By the mid-70s he had an alcohol and drug problem, and would often clash with his directors and co-stars. The only director he liked was Stanley Kubrick, who directed him in the film Dr. Strangelove. One actor that Sellers got on with was Sophia Loren, and they even recorded an album together in 1960, which yielded the novelty hit Goodness Gracious Me, that went to number 4 in the UK pop charts. He had an aversion to the colours green and purple, and refused to work opposite anyone who wore those colours. During the filming of Beat the Devil in 1953, lead actor Humphrey Bogart was in a serious car accident and had several teeth knocked out. When he was unable to provide some of the dialogue, Sellers was hired to dub his voice. This remains undetected in the movie to this day. Sellers died of a heart attack in 1980, but this wasn't his first heart attack, it was actually his 15th. He had one in 1977 and one in 1964 during the filming of Billy Wilder's Kiss Me Stupid. The 1964 incident was actually a series of 13 heart attacks over a period of a few days. At one point he was pronounced dead for a minute and a half. Only a few days before his death, Sellers came here to Golders Green to visit the ashes of his parents for the first time. At his funeral at Golders Green Crematorium, the comic said goodbye with one last joke. The song In the Mood was played at his request, even though he hated this song. This may have started the trend for unexpected music at funerals. Peter Sellers is considered by many to be the greatest comic actor since Charlie Chaplin. As I'm Welsh, I have to mention Hugh Griffith, an actor of stage and screen. He began acting in the 1940s, and by the 50s he was working in Hollywood. Known for his scene-stealing performances, he's best remembered for his role in the 1959 film Ben-Hur, in which he won an Academy Award. The award was accepted on his behalf by the film's director, William Wyler.
Hugh Griffith in Ben-Hur.
I am extremely happy to accept this highly deserved award for Mr. Hugh Griffith for his wonderfully humorous, human and sympathetic characterization of an Arab sheik.
A bit heavy. You would have two to make a pair of dumbbells.
Griffith, a heavy smoker, would use the backside of his Oscar to strike a match when he wanted the smoke. He was also nominated for an Academy Award for his performance in the movie Tom Jones in 1963. In 1952, he starred alongside fellow Welshman Richard Burton in a Broadway adaptation of Legends of Lovers. In 1958, he was nominated for a Tony Award for Best Actor alongside Anthony Perkins for their parts in the Broadway production Look Homeward, Angel. Hugh Griffith died in his London home aged 67 after being unwell for 1 year. Apparently this mausoleum was styled on the Pantheon in Rome. And the original idea was that there was supposed to be rose bushes growing out of the gaps here. Enid Blyton, the English children's writer, she was the world's 4th most translated author. Her books are still popular over 50 years after her death. Her books have sold over 600 million copies and have been translated into 90 languages. She's best remembered for Noddy, Famous 5 and Secret 7 books. Her books were technically very easy to read and she was often slated by critics. She encouraged her readers to support animal and paediatric charities, but her life was not without criticism. There were accusations of sexism and xenophobia. Blyton became increasingly unwell after the death of her husband and moved into a nursing home 3 months before she passed away. She died in her sleep of Alzheimer's disease on the 28th of November 1968. She was 71 years old. I'm getting close to Marc Bolan's grave at this point. There's a lot of people I haven't mentioned in this video, so if you'd like me to come back here to do future videos, please let me know in the comments section. I came here yesterday just to make sure I could find Marc Bolan's grave. before coming back today. Unfortunately the weather was really nice yesterday. It's also good now, so I'll probably show some of the footage from yesterday as well. Okay. Here's Marc Bolan's grave here. Marc Bolan's ashes are buried under this rose bush. His parents died in 1991 and their ashes are also buried here. This bench was placed here on the 35th anniversary of his passing. Of course the swan is in reference to his song, Ride the White Swan. So if you're coming here yourselves, I came the long way around that way, but there's a shorter path up here. Just need to find this, and Marc's grave is just by these steps here.